Good morning. It's Weekender time.
Yes, indeed. Here we go again.
I'm, of course, Warren from the Beast of War team. I'm joined by Lloyd and Justin. We have an action-packed show. We're going to be swapping in and out some guests. We have Sean from Wild West Exodus. He's going to be coming and join us. Yeah, so he's going to give us a lowdown. If you're wondering what this is about, we have been filming Wild West Exodus. It's been going brilliantly. We've loved it. And then a little bit later in the show, we're going to bring John in. Because we've got some stuff to talk about regarding the Battle of the Bulge, and we have the new Puma.
Yeah, the SDKFZ 235, I think it is.
This is a bolt-action tank, sort of, or
armored car. Eight-wheeled armored car.
It's an armored car with a tank turret.
Yeah,
it's very cool. Watch out for that.
John was saying some of the models actually had two drivers on it, so it could actually have two drivers, one at the front, one at the back, and a reversible gearbox, so it could go as fast forward as it could go on back. So it might be a little Italian.
Like the Auto Belinda.
Auto Belinda.
It can do the same thing. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. We've got tons to get through. Before we get stuck in, though, I want to say that at the moment, we are running the voting for the Beast of War 2014 Industry Awards.
Yep. My vote's in.
My vote's in.
My vote's in.
Yeah, so we've all voted. I'll let you into a little secret. Within 24 hours of it going up, we had nearly 3,000 votes.
3,000?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. So we need more. I want tons and tons of votes. So just to bring you up to speed, this Christmas, in Christmas week, the plan is we're going to have a week of shows all dedicated to this awards, the industry awards. I'm talking a little bit about the survey that we ran, to give you a little bit of insight into what people thought.
How's that going to work? Is it one show per category?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, at the moment, each category has approximately 10 nominations in them.
Yeah.
We passed out to you guys to vote, or to submit your nominations, right? We then went through that, and there were thousands of nominations. We went through that and collated them down into a list based on the number of nomination each game or each paint job or each sculpt or whatever got.
Yeah.
From that, we created a list that you're now able to vote on, okay? We'll do a show based on each category.
So is this essentially the Beasts of War Oscars?
It is, but rather than trying to do it all in one night and burn everybody out, we're going to do a show based on each category where we talk about what was in it, okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the final five that make it through to final night, okay? And the actual award night will take place on Boxing Day. That's the 26th of December.
Yeah, which is fast approaching. So
which will be a Friday. So on a Friday night, we'll do a show where we will actually then pick the winner.
Awesome.
From each of the categories. And
so wait. The first show, there's how many in it?
There might be 10 or whatever in it. We'll just talk about them.
Down to 5.
We'll talk about them. We'll talk about our experiences of those particular games. Why we think they're there. We'll just what happened to them that year and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really good way for you to get a grounding in a lot of the games and things and activities and accessories that were around in 2014. So it's almost like our recap, at least based on those games.
Yeah.
Are we going to resurrect our beasties for this?
We might resurrect
I actually
the beasties.
Like the beasties. The beasties
have we
character.
decontaminated the kidnapped one?
No, we've kept the kidnapped one for you. We have a beastie that ended up in a horrible place, but yes, I think we may well resurrect the beasties for this. And the beasties are Beasts of War awards that never leave Beasts of War. But
never.
What we do is we scratch a winner's name onto the back of it.
Yeah, and then the next year we polyfill it and just repaint it gold.
Justin, where's the gold paint?
Where's the polyfilla?
To make all of this happen, we need you to cast your votes. It only takes a few minutes. You will enjoy it because you go to the voting page and you get to see probably a lot of stuff you haven't seen. And I know a lot of people have really enjoyed the best sculpt of 2014 category and the best paint job of 2014
the
category.
Best paint job was the one that I spent the longest on because I looked at each one and it wasn't just looking at it going, okay, I like this system, I'm going with that. It was me actually looking at the paint job and going, which one is it?
There was not a lot in it, was it? They were all fabulous, fabulous paint jobs. So get your votes in and then remember to join us during Christmas week when we have some fun with all of this, and it's going to be good fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. On the topic of Christmas and fun, we got a present.
Yeah. Now, I was contacted via Facebook by a Mr. Gareth White, who is a long-time backstager.
Yeah.
Hello, Gareth.
Decided to send us a little surprise. Now, as soon as I heard the words we were getting a little surprise in the post, I got nervous.
I thought it was going to be plop trumps again.
Yeah, if you'll remember last year on one of our Christmassy shows, Dead Dave, the Beast of War roadie, sent us plop trumps and nearly had Warren puking on camera.
I nearly vomited on the show, it was that bad. But Annie and Gareth, they've started a little company, or they run a little company called Cozy Dice, They make dice bags, and they sent us this lovely letter where Gareth has been a backstager for a long time now, and as a thank you, I would like to send you these, and I'm going to show you them now, and also they have a little special offer in here for all of our backstagers, so stay tuned tomorrow morning if you're a backstager, where we're going to give you a little coupon code that you can use to get a little bit of a discount.
Basically, one of our backstagers is giving our backstagers an early Christmas gift.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't
that nice? Right, lovely. So what they've sent were these here that you can have.
There's one for
I'll
me,
let you have that one.
and one for you.
So
where's mine?
You don't get one.
It's okay, Lloyd. I will share mine with you. That's brotherly love.
Yeah.
So this is what they've sent through. They do little customized, embroidered dice bags.
Oh, it's all fluffy on the inside.
Yeah, it's just really, really nice. Yeah. Quality's great.
Yeah.
Great little embroidery on it. It's a dice bag. What is there to say about a dice bag other than...
What's underneath it? Is that their logo?
It's their logo.
That's their logo there. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect for bolt action players, because we all got to do...
I've been looking for one of these.
Hand in the bag.
Yep.
Now, I think that was...
Yep, there you go.
That was lovely, and I just want to say a big thank you to Annie and Gareth for that.
It's lovely when they do that.
Now, it does feel nice, actually.
Yeah,
they went a step further, actually, and I do want to mention this because it kind of warmed my cockles a little bit.
Whenever this came through the post, I looked at it and went, "Oh my God, that is the sweetest thing anyone has ever done to Warren on Beast of War."
Because it really touched me. And not only did they create a dice bag for us to use, but they also created a little Scooby-Doo bag for my daughter, for Savannah.
Really nice.
And if you look at the inside lining, it's not black.
She's got a lovely little pink. And I've got to say, guys, I couldn't... words. I can barely find the words to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
My little girl is going to absolutely adore that, especially because I've been teaching her the whole concept of the hand in the bag activation type thing.
So now she has a perfect one for her games of Scooby-Doo with her daddy.
This looks awesome. Let's have we look close up.
Yeah.
What a nice job they've done on this.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, they're really, really nice. I mean, I know, I've seen it.
You've had a look at this.
Gareth got in touch with me on Facebook because Warren, sometimes you're notoriously hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, guys,
really
go and check out Cozy Dice, okay? You can find them at facebook.com/Cozy Dice Bags or cozydice@gmail.com. And they'll do customized dice bags. That's their speciality, is customizing it just for you. So massive thank you for that. That was very, very sweet. Okay. I want to talk about a little piece of news.
I'm going to have to get one that says, "This is my bag, baby."
This is my bag. I want to talk about a little bit of news, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about some Wild West Exodus.
Yeah.
But before that, let me show you guys this. This absolutely blew my mind.
What?
This week.
It's epically big, isn't it?
Right. So you know that we've been covering. We did the unboxings, myself and Lloyd, on the foreground fantasy terrain.
The streets of Mordenberg.
The streets of Mordenberg.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it didn't just stop there. Look at this. It's part of the Fabled Realms series.
Yeah.
And it's called the Stoic Arms. And it looks exactly like that when you build it.
You look at it and you think, ooh, that's going to take me ages to build. But I've built some of the other ones.
As have I.
And they went together really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'd say you'd have that up and running in no time.
Yeah,
Give yourself, basically, if you sit down with a good movie in front of you, pint beside you, and start building this, you'll have it done in an evening.
I just think it's incredible.
It's absolutely beautiful. I want one. I need one.
Well, you talk as a centerpiece.
Does it come with these like
inlaid
signs and
signs?
things?
Yeah, I reckon
probably.
that those signs are probably
Quite
included
probably,
in it.
because
So,
for foreground, generally what you see is what you get.
so it's I'm hoping that we might be able to get access to one of these to show it off to you guys.
Yeah.
Because I really am keen to see one of these to see how easy it is to put together and how well it goes together.
This
because
is like
that just looks brilliant.
It's like a scenario in itself. Put that on the table and play in and around that. And
you see, if you and your mates are really into your D&D, and you do big, beautiful maps and stuff for it, this is going to be perfect for your inn that you're going into to get your quest on.
Oh yeah,
this
absolutely.
is going to be fantastic.
We're absolutely spoilt for choice at the moment. The other thing that we're expecting through, hoping sometime soon now, is you know that there was Kickstarters for plastic castles and things like that there, where you can actually build the modular castles.
Oh yeah, I think you showed me this a while back.
So I think we're expecting some of that through to actually show off to you guys and see how well it actually goes together.
I took a look at the castle and I went, that's a huge amount of castle.
Yeah.
I mean, I initially thought, who needs that amount of castle? But
you need that amount of castle. Let's be honest. You need that amount of castle. I look at even this, and it's just that moment of my brain just going, "Okay, shut up and take my money."
Well, if the rumors are true, right, that the next iteration of fantasy is going to be is either going to have or going to be a skirmish level game. Okay, something maybe along the lines of Mordheim or something like that. If that's true, and I don't know if it's true or not, but if that's true, this terrain is going to be absolutely fabulous for that.
That can't be true.
We discussed this last week.
I'm not even getting into it then.
You know,
it's been discussed to death.
Well,
we had a good roaring argument about it.
It's a rumor that's going around at the moment that the fantasy. I don't know if it'll be kind of a skirmish rules that scale up. Or skirmish rules and mass battle rules, or just skirmish rules. You know, what does skirmish mean these days? Skirmish can still mean 50-odd models, you know. But remember that fantasy, you're talking maybe 300 models.
Yeah, you see, what I'm thinking is, if they're doing it at all, it might just be a scaling back of fantasy. You know, something to drag it back to something more manageable for the players. You know, because I can't see them ever binning the entire range, simply because
nobody's
going to
bin the range.
Oh.
They'll never
you think the range would perhaps cross over into this new skirmish format then?
The skirmish, they will. First and foremost, the thing you have to understand with Games Workshop, as with most gaming companies, at least the ones that are serious about growth and market share, is models come first. Everything else is written to suit the models.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
well,
so
that's why we used to have Codex Creep.
So the whole thing about Games Workshop is their salespeople for a long time dictated what models were going to be made next.
Yeah.
So they were the ones that said we need this, 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 and this.
Yeah. Now make it fit the game.
That would go to the designers, and then the designers would create the models, and then at that point it would then go to the rules writers. So the rules writers are last in this chain. So anything that they do, skirmish-wise or anything else, and bear in mind now, skirmish games are
the rage.
They are the rage at the moment. Everybody loves skirmish-sized games.
Case in point.
So anything that they do, they will be doing it with the model range in mind.
I suppose.
So
fair point.
what they do, I don't know, and that's even if that's true, which we don't know.
Yeah, it could all be utter nonsense.
It could be, but we'll have to wait and see. But something is going to come out of the end times.
Yeah.
And I think it would be great if fantasy had some kind of interesting scalable thing where you can play a cool skirmish game with it. To be honest, I'd be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I would be satisfied with that. If they can find a way of having a really cool skirmish game that they can then scale up to mass battle, even better.
I'd dip my toe. I'd get into that.
Yeah.
Well, because then you can gradually build up to it. That appeals to me.
Yeah.
And then it would feel a lot more intimate and not a lot more personal whenever you're just moving a few minis around and then building the stories around those less number of minis than just big
it would
units.
certainly for me feel more narrative, and I think I would connect with the range a lot better. You know, it's one of the things I've been harping on now for 5 years about bring back Warhammer Quest as your lead-in to fantasy, because you know, people can build stories, they can buy from the entire fantasy range to populate their dungeons. You have everything that's needed there for people to have something that they can start to create stories in their mind. They can start to relate to the monsters, the creatures and things in their mind, and they can buy from across the entire range. They're not stuck in one area where I play high elves, therefore I only buy high elves.
Yes, but you see, even if they ran an adventure series where every week or every month they were expanding further and further into a range to follow a full story, and at the end of the story you then go, oh wait, I actually have a full army here. Aha.
Well, there is the possibility of that, because certainly one of the things that we have seen, certainly in 40k these days, is the likes of these box sets, these kind of campaign box sets that take you through a series of steps, like Stormclaw, which had the Space Wolves and all in it.
Yeah.
We're expecting to see the same thing now around the Blood Angels as well. So it's, you know, I'm all up for it. I think at this stage...
If it's in a scalable fashion that I can scale right back up to Warhammer Fantasy Battles at the scale they are now, it doesn't alienate anybody, everybody can still play the level they were playing before, then I'm all up for it.
Yeah, but
because
so long as that skill runs on a nice pace.
40k is more accessible than fantasy, because just simply from the fact that you don't need hundreds of models. You need a lot of models, but not hundreds of rank and file.
Yeah, but so long as that scalability runs in bite-sized chunks that you're fit to digest.
Well, I actually disagree with both of you on
this. Disagreement.
And my reason for disagreement is I have a feeling that if they try to create something that tries to appeal to everybody, it'll appeal to nobody.
All things to all men.
Okay? So I don't actually care if it scales up to fantasy, because I don't want to play fantasy.
But where does that leave fantasy players then?
Well, I don't want to play fantasy in its current iteration. You know, I think
you don't want to play it, but existing players are going, well, I still want to play it.
They'll still have their old rule books.
Yeah, they still have.
This,
I talked about this last week. You know, the 7th edition or 8th edition rule book or whatever is still there.
For them, but then it's not a replacement. It's just an alternative flavour.
What might be interesting is, well, firstly, I'd like, if they're going to go down the route of a skirmish, I'd like to see them get that right. If it's just there as a kind of weak lead-in to try and lead people up
a bolt on
to fantasy, right? I think it'll fail. I think it needs to be a fabulous, magnificent game in its own right. Otherwise, I'm going to go and play Malifaux, or Wild West Exodus, or one of the other Hordes, one of the other fabulous skirmish games that is what it is. A really good game. Whereas if they just try to do something and it's more of a kind of a bait you in, oh, you know, you can play this little mini game. I'm not interested in a mini game. I want a meaty game that allows me to explore a narrative, have fun, and play with this terrain.
Yeah, so basically, you want to be able to live and thrive within it as a hobby in itself.
Yeah, and I think that there's
somewhere else.
I think that there's scope. I think there is scope.
Yeah.
You know, I think market share of Warhammer Fantasy has been narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. They've maybe staved that off a little bit with the whole end times thing, because you know the end times thing's been great, and it's and you know everything's selling out. Bear in mind, we don't know how many copies they've been printing of stuff. It may not be massive, but it is selling out. You know, and there's a lot of very happy Warhammer Fantasy players out there. However, that doesn't mean that the game is just going to pick itself up off the back of that and go, there's nothing wrong here, everything's fine, let's keep going. Everything is clearly not fine in Warhammer Fantasy. So if they go down this route of trying to do something different, I think they need to commit to it and go the whole hog and make a game at the skirmish level that is fantastic, fabulous. If it's that, and it can lead on to larger games, brilliant. But if it's not that, you can forget about anything else.
Fair point.
Well, we move on, because if we've covered this in detail last week, I don't want to try.
Well, it was in the backstage last week. So passing out to the front stagers.
This week in Backstage, we're going to be talking a little bit about Smaug, and we're also going to be talking about the change in base size from 25mm to 32mm. So if you're interested in that, head on over to bc4.com on Sunday morning, where the XLBS version, the Backstage version of this show, which is a whole additional show, will be there. There's some of the topics we're going to cover. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, I'm saying goodbye to Lloyd. We're going to bring Sean in from Outlaw Miniatures, and we're going to be talking Wild West Exodus. Welcome back, guys. We're joined by Sean.
Here I am.
From Outlaw Miniatures. Way!
There I am.
Buddy.
So
What's
Sean
that?
has flown in from Arizona. That's
beautiful.
a big flight. That's a
Bit of a
big
body
flight.
shock.
Yeah, so he's flown in.
And a little chilly,
Yeah.
but it's moist. You know, there's good moisture in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, it's typical Irish weather at the moment,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's cold and it's wet.
December
Yep.
1st,
So-
winter hits.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, we've been spending the week filming content and stuff like that around Wild West Exodus.
Yep.
I've got to say, I have had a blast. I got a game against Justin where I absolutely wiped the floor with him.
I was learning, and my tactical decisions are never the best.
Well, to be fair to Justin, I thought he had me. I really did. On the first couple of turns, I thought he had me, but it shows there's some really interesting mechanics in this game.
Yeah.
Influence being one of the real
Yeah, the humdingers.
humdingers.
The humdinger.
But these guys are gonna talk us through. But we've been filming a themed week.
Yeah.
Not only that, we've also been filming a new mini series called Exploring Exodus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where Justin and Sean are taking us through some of the finer points and tactical things.
Yeah, well,
in
we've
the
been
game.
looking at some of the cool synergies and stuff that certain miniatures can do together, and there are some really cool cinematic moments that you can create within this game, which I'm absolutely loving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know,
So
they're pretty cool.
I want to get a quick chat about the game. You know, I think we're going to do a themed week on this game anyway. So it's, but I want to try and get a few basics and have a look at some of the miniatures and just show them off and talk a bit about our experiences of the game. Now, it's you guys got to film a game this week.
Yeah.
The kind of like a demo game / battle report.
Yeah.
Lloyd was there for the filming of that and tells me it's probably the best battle report we've ever done.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking
Excitement
forward
levels
to seeing
were
this.
through the roof.
Yeah,
pretty fun.
And my gamer rage got to bloom in full beautiful fury.
So which factions did each of you play?
Myself, I took the Union with Abraham Lincoln for one simple reason.
Yeah.
He has an axe that's a shotgun.
Where is he? He's
right here.
Show him off.
He
So,
is right here. Look at that.
so here we have Abe Lincoln.
His axe is a shotgun.
So it's a shotgun axe.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love the backstory for him in this because
Yeah.
the history of it, it's sort of there but sort of not.
Mm-hmm.
So in this universe, Abraham Lincoln fakes his assassination
Mm-hmm.
because he's tired of being the president and wants to get out to the front line and just, well, kick some ass.
Right.
I love it.
You're really getting quite hyper about this, isn't it? This is the most motivated I've seen Justin in a long time. So Abe Lincoln, who else did you have then?
I then had the good Master Pinkerton, who is a presidential bodyguard.
Right.
And one of the things is, if he stays within 6 inches of Abe Lincoln,
Yeah.
Abe gets shot or hit in melee. The bodyguard takes the damage.
Right. That makes Abe pretty survivable as well.
Yeah.
Then.
And he is
Big
an
health pool.
absolute
Huge
machine. He is a machine of whirling bladed death in combat.
So Abe is somebody you want to get into close combat.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, he can do his shooting because he's got a couple of nice little special bits on his gun, and he has a little derringer that puts you on fire. You can set people on fire in this game.
Yeah.
So the old internet term, kill it with fire, it works. And yeah, he actually helps him just survive longer, get into combat, and when he's there, it's just hulking out.
I'm getting really freaked out by Justin's excitement about all of this.
I'm sorry, you know me. I love my steampunk.
Yeah.
You remember what I was like playing Wallsong?
Yes. Yep.
Take my excitement for Wallsong, and put it into this tenfold. I'm loving it.
You're just big into this.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving
one of the
it.
interesting things is whenever I played the game against Justin, I had a character. It's this gentleman here. I want to talk a little bit about him.
Dr. Carpathian.
This is Dr. Carpathian.
That's who I used. Too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I don't like him.
No,
I don't like him.
this weapon is an atomic gun. It's a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, with a huge blast on it that irradiates you.
Yep.
And if you can't get rid of the radiation, if you can't pass a test to get rid of the radiation,
You're starting to take hits.
you take wounds on a D10. You just take a D10's worth of wounds.
Yep.
It is so killy. It is really, really good.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's that if you bunch up, you have that big 5-inch blast.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit your target, you're going to hit everybody under that template.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then even if you miss, it's going to scatter. So you still might hit more people.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
What else did you use along with Dr. Carpathian?
So Dr. Carpathian, we had Thomas Edison right here.
Yeah.
Now this is an interesting little model. It's just like an audio weapon of some sort.
Yeah, so he's got, two big gramophone bells over the top, and he tosses his little switches, and it shoots everybody off. He's got a little template weapon that he can move people around.
Yeah.
So say, like what happened, we had Abraham Lincoln and Pinkerton close to each other. Well, with his weapon, I can shoot them away from each other.
Yeah,
and now I can start
get them
damaging
outside of
Abe
that
Lincoln.
range so that Pinkerton can't take the damage for Abe.
So you activate him first.
Yep.
Get rid of Pinkerton.
Yeah.
Then activate this guy and hit Abe Lincoln with the nuclear gun.
Actually, the other way around.
Yeah.
Because you want to irradiate both of them.
There
so
you
if
go.
you hit Abe and him with the first one, then you split them up. Then whenever Abe starts taking that radiation damage, it can't go on.
Ah.
So,
So
and then
you
the other
see how the synergy stack.
and the other thing with Edison right there is these little guys. It helps
If we
them.
bring him over to his show.
So let's bring in a close combat one
Now,
first.
these are kind of like little, what are they, undead? Or like
No,
raised
reanimated
dead,
corpus.
reanimated corpses?
Yeah, reanimated corpses.
Zombies.
You can see they've gotten even more modified than some of the other ones. Some of the other
mecha-fied.
ones still have legs. Those ones are on wheels.
Yeah.
And they've got, pistols and blades attached to their hands and that sort of, well, not even hands anymore, just attached to their robotic arms now.
Yeah.
But anyway, for one, they're strapped with TNT. So you shoot them, they blow up. You move them into combat, they blow up as well.
Can you shoot your own guys?
Yeah, you can shoot your own guns.
Oh, God.
But-
So you can run them into combat
Yeah.
and then pick them off with a nuclear gun.
You could do
no,
that.
no. You don't even need to do that.
With Carpathian, he just pops the switch.
He's got a trigger.
Has he got a remote control for it?
Yeah,
Has
so
he?
he just-
Oh.
If you get
pops
a
the
couple of
switch and
these
blows
going
them
into
up.
combat, it's just, okay, you boom, you boom, you boom. Damn it!
And then you pair that up with Edison. So
Yeah.
Edison pushes them up forward. They run even further.
Yeah.
And then you blow them up.
Yeah.
So Edison gives them like an extra move that they didn't have.
Well, with
Yeah.
that wave motion.
Well,
so
he
he just
gives them
pushes
a
them
push.
with that sound wave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What else did you have there then?
So let's get this guy, the Doomsday.
Oh.
This thing is an absolute monster on the table. It's got a crap ton of shooting, and it transports people.
So it acts as a transport.
Yeah.
How many characters can it move around? Or
Off the
think
top
it's
of my head,
about
6.
six?
Six small bases,
Yeah.
or larger bases count as 2 slots.
It looks nigh and indestructible, really. You know,
Well, I didn't really do much to it. It was just huge and nasty, and I want it to die.
Well, what
He got so he got the movement taken off of it. So it was pretty much it just got stopped
yeah.
as a gun platform as soon as the movement went out on it.
Yeah.
And what guns has it got on it?
So it's got 4 crew-mounted rifles. So those are just like little rifles, and then it's got those 2 sonic Gatling guns at the front that are shooting thermite rounds, so it can help take out some of the other heavy support in the game, or it just pours a lot of fire into it. It's not incredibly accurate, but it's got a lot of shots coming out of it.
Are there many pieces like this in the game? Is there...
So every faction has at least 1 heavy support.
Yeah.
Most factions by about March next year, March-April time, we should be seeing 2 for everybody. Definitely.
Yeah.
Warrior Nation already has 2. Most of the RJ 1027 factions, the factions that use RJ 1027 have at least 2 because they have access to the Ironhide already, and then they have whatever they've been given with their faction. But Holy Order still needs to get another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Warrior Nation already has their Beast Their Great Elk and then their Fire Eagle.
Yeah.
Now's probably a good time to quickly run through the factions. So anybody watching this who's curious about the factions. So Justin, you were playing the
Union.
The Union.
So
and another
guys,
thing that the Union had was these awesome iron horses.
Are something I was taking. They're a light support vehicle, but you can equip them with rocket pods, mini cannons, and miniguns.
And that's all optional stuff that you
That's all optional stuff. So
Yeah.
you sort of get to customize them and have them tooled out the way you want to do the job you need them to do.
So the Union has these kind of Union soldiers. It has Abe Lincoln and whatnot in it, right? What next? What's the next faction then?
All right, next up, you're going to have the Outlaws.
Okay.
So you're going to have people in there like Jesse James, fastest gun in the West, an absolute nasty character whenever you're playing him on the table.
Yeah.
Because he's got 2 big robotic arms, 2 custom-made pistols, optics, and this guy is just an absolute monster when it comes to shooting. So I actually played against you with him.
Yeah.
And whenever it came to killing Edison...
You caught me by surprise, actually, with just how shooty Jesse James actually was.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting him to be as fearsome and to lay down as much fire as he actually did. It was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, whenever it came to killing Edison, it was just him looking at Edison going, right, I have my full action points, I'm just going to load everything into you, you are going to die. And then that started to chip away. I think that's one of the things that first made you think, whoa, wait a minute, something might go wrong here.
Yeah.
And cover. That's when you start going like, oh, I shouldn't just be out in the open in this game. I want to go find that little piece of scatter terrain or get behind a building, that sort of thing. Because there are guys like that come out guns blazing, ready to just shoot you up. And
and what other outlaws is there in it? Is like Billy the Kid?
You've got Billy the Kid. You've got Frank James, so Jesse James' brother, who's a sniper, very, very cool guy.
Yep.
High-powered weapon, who's just going to hang back and just pick everybody off. The cool thing with him is whenever Jesse gets into combat, Frank James has a special rule where he can shoot into combat and not suffer any penalties. So he's got his boss's back.
Right.
Cool. Yep.
Okay, so that's the Outlaws.
So
Who's
and
next?
then the other thing that's cool about the Outlaws is they were kind of one of the first ones that we did a lot of the backstory on. So the first 3 novels that we did were all the Jesse James archives, talking about Jesse James, but also talking about that whole group of guys. So it's the James Younger gang, and then also Billy the Kid and his posse.
That's worth mentioning, actually. If you're interested in the backstory to this game, it is now really starting to get fleshed out.
Yeah,
there are 3 full novels there.
5 now.
5 novels.
Yeah, 5 full novels now.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that, definitely go and check them out. We'll see if we can even get a sample chapter or something put up.
We can get a few.
Let you guys
the other thing is, if you actually place your comment below and win the 2-player starter box, you get Jesse James in there, I think, for the Outlaws faction.
You'll get Jesse
Outlaws versus Lawmen. So you're going to actually get him and see how he plays on the table and get to feel the raw power of having 2 mega pistols just blasting down the field at your opponent.
Okay, Union, Outlaws, Lawmen.
Lawmen. Yeah. So, I mean, you got guys like Wyatt Earp, you got Pat Garrett, you got Doc Holliday. You know, you're starting to see this kind of come together where you have like the age-old sort of rivalries between the Outlaws, the Lawmen. And then, you know, you'll start to see, you know, we have the Union, we have the Enlightened. All of these guys are kind of warring over different sections of the place. And, you know, with the Lawmen, they're kind of, they're loosely affiliated with the Union. They're kind of like, they were essentially put there in the first place and kind of geared out by the Union. But then when the Lawmen actually try and do their job and they start to kind of step to a certain point, they're like dogs a little bit, and the Union kind of pull them back and go, no. Secret Service is here. We got this taken care of. You guys just go back to your little deputies. And hang
you
out.
guys keep looking after that 1 horse town we put you in.
Now at this point, it's worth mentioning, right, as a major plot point in the backstory, right, is a lot of these guys that you've been mentioning, like Wyatt Earp, Jesse James, they're not from the same time period in the West. There's a plot point here of how this all ended up.
There's some
together.
sort of things that are happening. So the main power source behind Wild West Exodus, we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but RJ 1027, it's like this. It's like snake oil, right? You know, it's like it does everything. It'll cure diseases. It
yes,
you know,
but it actually does everything.
Yep. So this, you know, it rejuvenates people, keeps them young. So, you know, people basically just think that Jesse James is like 20 still. They're like, aren't you like 50 now? Like, aren't you like 7? Like, what? You know, what's going on? So all these guys that are really, really, twisted, corrupted by this stuff,
Yeah.
it's everywhere. They use it as electricity in their houses. They're using it in their iron horses. They're using it in these transports and their weapons. So it's just surrounding them.
Yeah.
And it's just twisting their thoughts and like corrupting them on the deeper
so
level.
It's extending the lives of these guys. So
it's pushing their life.
You have all this crossover.
Yeah, and we're gonna get even deeper into that once we push into the Kickstarter this next year.
Yeah.
And we bring some factions in where you're gonna see people and you're gonna be like, wait a second, isn't he like 500 years old right now?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, but he found the stuff that he was just sipping on, and and he's found a way to keep himself young, youthful, exuberant, robust.
And then
even
you were telling me in this Kickstarter we're going to see the deeper corruption start to show up in some of the factions, so it's going to be amazing.
So when can we expect this Kickstarter?
So originally we were kind of like, we're never going to do a Kickstarter. I think at one point, we even said, we're not going to do another one. We did our first one. Never again. We're just going to push this. We've had so many people that are just like, we want to see these last four. We want to see these last four. So
these are the last four factions.
Last four factions. So we even talk about them in the background. You know about all of them at different points. So it wasn't like a surprise that we had 4 factions. People knew that they existed. But then, we were, okay, when can we do this? And we just were like, all right, next year. So 2015, March 1st right now is the planned start date. So we'll kind of be doing some cool stuff during Adepticon. We'll be doing stuff around that time. So definitely around the start of the year, you'll start to hear a lot more where we're coming out with new stuff, just more new stuff. We've started to tease a little bit of the bosses from each of the factions, talk a little bit about them. We see some of the characters that we kind of started the game and grew up a little bit with, and that was one of the reasons why we spaced it out. Just wanted to space it out is because there were some characters that were going to start to overlap between factions just a little bit, almost right away. And if you saw one of them and then you're like, wait, why is that character here now?
You wanted to give them a little bit of life before moving them on to the new stage.
Yeah.
Yep. But
so the story is going to progress then as part of this.
Yep. So the story will progress. There's going to be new characters coming out. We're not going to take away the ability for you to play, your old Abe Lincoln, but we've already got a legendary version that you can play. So you've got legendary Abe Lincoln, even bigger axe, even bigger beard, even bigger sideburns, bigger hat. Like he's just he's getting younger. He's getting out. At first, he was not bought into the whole RJ 1027 thing because Carpathian kind of held that technology. Union started synthesizing it themselves, getting their own supply of it, and then now that he's been around it more and more and more, he's starting to kind of turn into a new guy. So we see that change. We'll see the 4 new factions in the Kickstarter. So we'll have the Golden Army. So that's going to be like Spanish conquistadors, the Mexican army coming together. We'll have the Watchers. That's the alien race that we see in the original background book.
Yeah, there's a few teaser images in there, which are really cool.
And then to kind of, and what we already have in the game right now, we have the Holy Order.
So let me just go back to this now. So we have the Union. We had the Outlaws. We had the Lawmen. Who else?
We've got the Holy Order.
The Holy Order. Yeah. Now tell me a little bit about the Holy Order.
The Holy Order. They were the first humans on Earth.
Yeah.
And they actually had gotten this relic that came initially from Mars. And there's actually, you'll have to read the backstory to get the full wrap of what's going on. But basically, the Dark Council is this kind of omnipresent force. That's where the influence comes from in the game. That's how Dr. Carpathian found RJ 1027. They're kind of pushing these. They're like puppeteers a little bit for these guys, and they're pushing them along these sort of paths.
It's kind of Illuminati kind of characters.
Exactly. So the Holy Order, they are kind of the antithesis to that. Basically their plan is they don't want the Dark Council to have this power. They're kind of the ones that they're not able to just straight up see it and be like, okay, we know Dark Council's right there, we're going to go for it. But they start to catch on pretty quick. They know what's up. They have relic imbued weapons and knowledge of this sort of corruption, and that's what they seek out. And they're almost fanatical in that. So like even if they think that you're corrupted of this, they want to go seek it out and they want to exterminate you. They want to get you gone. And then they're also kind of the last line of defense for humanity against some more evil forces that are coming, the Watchers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the Holy Order.
Yeah.
Who next then?
We've got Enlightened.
Enlightened,
So we talked about them a little bit. Dr. Carpathian, his animations. And then the last one's going to be Warrior Nation.
Okay.
Yeah. So out of the original 6 factions, Warrior Nation, they are kind of, they're the Native American tribes. They're, at this point in the story, they're starting to band together a lot more because there's a lot of territory encroachment. But basically with this RJ-1027 tech that started to kind of ravage everything, it's changing a lot. There's a lot of twisting, corruption, different stuff going on.
When we mentioned the Warrior Nation, I actually have a piece of artwork I picked out here for it.
Nice.
Say hello to this guy.
Oh.
Say hello.
What is that?
That is Sitting Bull in his legendary form. He is a massive, nasty wolf who is just ready to tear your face off.
And is this turned into a sculpt yet?
We have done an unboxing for this. So during this week we've been doing unboxings and a lot of videos as well. So I've been sitting talking with Sean, and as we've unboxed it, we've been hearing more of the story and the rules behind how they work.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he is an absolute monster from what I was reading of his rules.
So that means that today there's 6 existing factions, yeah?
So yeah, there's 6 existing factions that you could go buy right now, get started with, and then we just have 4 more to make it the full 10.
Okay, and of the 4 more, you have the Watchers.
So we've got the Watchers.
That's a kind of alien presence.
Yeah, so the alien presence. We see some of them in the background. They have, big spiky armor, that sort of thing, the ones that we show. The ones that you'll see are going to be a bit more of the sophisticated leaders coming out from this alien culture. Some of them have a little bit more sort of like anthropomorphic look to them. They're a little bit more human looking just in some of their shape and structure. Not as much of just like a beastly looking thing. And then you'll see kind of their technology come into the game. With them will also be a different set of rules different set of special rules even that are going to come into the game and play into the stuff they do. They don't really use influence the same way, but they can leech influence off of people. They know that the power exists, but they're not directly affected by it.
Yeah.
But as they consume things, as they devour things that use it, they can use it themselves now. So they're going to be a faction that's interesting because they'll be strong, but they're not going to be like as strong as some of the other factions start out. But as the game progresses, they'll gain strength if they kill the right characters. So the boss, as certain models kill other models, we'll just steal special rules from them. We'll steal. So you'll see their boss gain special rules from other characters in your own army.
So basically, suddenly, if their boss munches, say, Abe Lincoln, they could start getting decapitated.
So it wouldn't be on the weapon special rules; it'd be off the back of the card. So even more so. So you might get something along the lines of now all your hired hands, whenever your boss kills a model, your hired hands are able to move 2 inches.
Yeah, or if your models start within 6 inches of this model, they're getting a free aim action or things like that.
Yeah, things like that.
That's gonna be nasty.
So you're gonna open up. It's almost like a on-the-fly customization of your army, and then. So what they're going to end up as is something that can do what you can do, but better. So you want to take them out before they get there. They're going to be one of those, sort of look at the threats, see what the threats really pose, and very targetedly pick those things out.
Yeah. What do I want for lunch? What looks tasty for the special rules on the other side there?
Next up, then we have the Golden Army. Is that it?
Golden Army, and that will be led by Ponce de Leon. So here's one of these guys that. We're talking about the late 1800s here. And then we're talking Ponce de Leon, like 1400s, 1500s. So I'm not going to go too much into the detail of where exactly he found this sort of power, but there's a place where basically RJ-1027, but it's not chemically synthesized. It's more a naturally occurring sort of similar thing is happening, and he's in control of that. So he knows what it's doing to him, but he doesn't necessarily know what's going on in the rest of the world. And so part of, what is going to happen is you're going to see him realize his potential for expansion. So that's where he's going to start to play into what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Dark Nation, which is very exciting because
this is the one that has me hooked.
We've got the Warrior Nation already, and they follow the Great Spirit. They don't touch RJ 1027. That's not what they do. But the daughter of basically the main leader of the tribe, Sitting Bull, her name is Walks Looking. She was born blind. She's an amazing fighter, though. But she's never felt like she's been able to be embraced by the spirit culture of the tribes that she lives in. So she, along the path that kind of she goes through her life, ends up being corrupted by RJ 1027, this technology. And so the next time we see her, she's the leader of the Dark Nation. She's the leader of these fallen. So you'll see like Wendigo type characters. You'll see this sort of like emaciated, mangled wolf-like creatures with RJ canisters stuffed in their back to keep them alive, and they've got flesh falling off of them, and they drain the lifeblood out of people.
Yeah, so where with the Warrior Nation, you see it's nice, clean, natural transformations. This is going to be the rending and tearing of skin.
You might have like a emaciated, like torn apart hand that doesn't work correctly, and then another like giant claw that just rips things apart, and bat wings sprouting out, and you'll see like vampire-esque looking gaunt faces, and that's the sort of look that we're going for there. And
that's
then,
really cool. That's really cool.
They'll be able to hurt themselves to strengthen themselves, so they just take damage to get stronger. And then they can come up, do damage to you, and steal your lifeblood, and then heal themselves back up with damage they do.
Yeah.
So that won't be across the entire army, but you'll see certain characters that are more leaning towards that idea. So that's kind of the idea that we'll have there. And then the last one, it's probably the one that people have asked for the most since we've gotten done with even the Kickstarter and the Holy Order, the first Kickstarter, and then the Holy Order. We have the Confederate Rebellion. So
the South has risen again.
This is the General Lee, isn't it? So
I mean, so at this point they're led by Stonewall Jackson. Yep. So that's kind of like the commander in chief of the South right now, Stonewall Jackson. You got guys like Bill Quantrill, and then what's really cool is we've definitely added a cool flair to it because. The idea, right, is that the two halves of the nation are still separated. They've never decided to go back into one nation. So the Confederate Rebellion is still fighting for their land in the South. And they're basically just saying, like, here's our border, this is our stuff, stay out. We're fighting for our territory, this is what we're doing. And so they've become these guerrilla warfare type guys. So they're, running around in ghillie suits, sneaking through the bushes, taking pot shots, ducking back into the bushes, skirting over here. And that's how they'll play out, is they'll be these really scouty hit and run type flanking forces, things like that, use terrain a lot to their advantage. So you'll see guys that are wearing full ghillie suits and sniper rifles. You also see guys using the Black Hoof type vehicles instead of the Iron Horses. And Black Hoofs are just like mechanical robotic horses.
So if you're a poor sod in this world, you can't afford one of the Iron Horses, the cool jet bikes. So you have to ride a mechanical horse and look like an idiot.
So I think it's sound cool.
They're a little slower, but they're quieter. And then they, because of that, it plays into their scouting. They don't really have the kind of resources to be able to keep Iron Horses. Like they could probably find a few and have them, whatever, but they're not going to be able to keep a whole bunch of them for their whole army to use. So
they might be an elite unit in the force.
Yeah, and like certain like specific raiding units that want to go like catch everybody's attention while those guys are sneaking up around the outside. Might have that Iron Horse to hoot and holler, go shoot up a place, and then you have here's the guerrilla warfare guys sneaking up around.
What actually happened.
Here's the snipers, and they're taking. And by the time they're like, where's the help? Where's the guards? They're gone. They've already been taken out by the quiet, sneaky, stealthy guys.
We used to play a game as kids called North and South,
right?
And it was a Civil War game, but it was absolutely fantastic. I'm getting shivers up my spine at this game now at the prospect of all these different factions. It's so alive. It's so alive. I'm so excited by the fact of the the flavor of each faction is so strong. I had no idea about the Golden Army. I think that's going to add a whole other dimension to the thing.
For me, whenever the Dark Nation rock in, I think that's going to turn the world on its head.
Yeah.
Well, it's just going to be a big toss-up, right?
Yeah.
It's like so many things are going to change, so many new things are going to happen. You're going to see new weapon types come out. Even the factions that exist right now, they're not going to get left out.
Yeah.
We'll see new releases for them come out during the Kickstarter, and some of them will even have weaponry that's coming from these new factions as well. So you'll have like outlaws that have gone out and killed some of the Watchers, strapped this alien technology.
I take it
on.
everything that everybody has, they can still use though.
Sure,
like,
yeah. We're not negating or taking anything out. It'll just be additions onto that and just new exciting things to be able to do.
That they can add in.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, that is absolutely brilliant. Guys, we are running a competition. This week, you could be the winner of the 2-player starter set. It's absolutely awesome. It's got 28 miniatures in it. It's got the mini rule book. It's got the template set, the token set, and the dice and stat cards for all of the models. It's absolutely the perfect starting point.
Best thing about this entire set, it's some of the finest hard plastic I have ever seen in my life.
Yes, you're a big fan of that.
Big fan of this kit.
To be in with a chance of winning that, all you have to do is comment below on this video here on YouTube or here on beastsofwar.com or on the corresponding post on Facebook. So be sure to put a post in there and share the video around among your friends. Sean, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Look, thank you so much for coming on the show. We will not leave it so long before we get you back.
I know.
To get an update on this. And guys, by all means, wait, and we're going to be getting. We have some cool unboxings to show you. We have a new series called Exploring Exodus, where we're going to be going into some detail, and we're currently scheduling up a themed week where we're going to spend a full week getting to grips with Wild West Exodus. And then on top of all of that, come March, there's a Kickstarter that's going to take the whole thing on a big leap forward.
When that lands, I either want a Google Hangout or a Skype chat with this man to see what's happening.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, we're going to come back. We have a little cool little dinky kind of Puma thing with a turret that's going to
World War II. Mr. Lyons is joining us in the studio.
We're going to get John in to tell us all about it. And welcome back. Jono's in the studio!
Yes, I am indeed.
So, Jono, we're going to talk a little bit about the Puma, but before that, I have an announcement to make.
I'm worried.
We're going back to war. Actually, we've got another great article series coming up. Oriskany, one of our highly valued community members, he's done some great article series. He's done one on Star Wars, which has been absolutely brilliant. Well worth checking out. He's used the Star Wars pocket models.
Oh yeah.
And he's created his own game set, which we're looking at. We're going through at the moment. He has sent us that game set, so we're going to put that out to you guys, so you can download that and go off and play it yourself. It's a cool game to give you that whole Star Wars experience, just using the little paper pocket models. So
yeah,
it's
you've
very,
seen them
very
before.
cool.
I know I've seen some of the space ones sitting about, but is this the land battles he has done? I think.
Yes, it's all the land battle stuff. Now, he's got in touch. We have the anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge coming up.
Yep. Yes.
He's organising a big multi-day battle report type thing, and he's going to do a full-on article series about the Battle of the Bulge. Now, I think we talked a little bit about the Battle of the Bulge when we were sitting in the tank episode.
Yeah, we did briefly.
But for those of us like me that maybe don't know an awful lot about this stuff and its history, don't put me to sleep. Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Well,
Can you give me a bit of a background to the Battle of the Bulge and the kind of things that we could expect Oriskany to be doing during all of this?
Well, the Battle of the Bulge, which was the Germans' offensive in the Ardennes forest, was basically Hitler's last gamble He gathered everything he could in Western Europe. In fact, yeah, there's the map.
We have a map.
Amazing, yeah.
Okay,
And so we have a map here. This is the greenish sort of area is the Ardennes forest, which is very hilly and
It's huge.
It's massive. It's part of Germany, part of I think it's
Belgium.
Belgium and Germany.
Yeah.
Hitler basically put an entire Panzer Corps through this forest to break through the American and British lines and push towards the port of Antwerp. The idea was
this is all tanks, isn't it?
it's well, there's a lot of armor in it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of men in it as well.
Okay, right.
I think.
So what was he trying to accomplish here?
What he was trying to do is, on either side of this flank, on either of these German flanks, in the south he has the American Third Army,
Yeah.
and in the north he has the British Eighth Army,
Right.
or Ninth Army in this case. It's all on there on the map. What he was trying to do was split the Allies in half, like break the Americans away from the British, force his way to Antwerp, capture the port, and stop the Allies being able to work together.
Whoa. This is so cool. I'll tell you why. Because for Tank Week, I designed this mission where I have the Germans in a triangle in the middle and the Americans to one side and the Brits to the other. So you tell me that actually happened?
It could pretty much, yeah. This was Germany's attempt to split the two Allies.
And this was at the end of the war. This is late war, yeah? This is all the best kit is around at this point.
This is all... the Germans were rolling King Tigers into this fight. They had Tiger 1s, Panthers, all the big stuff, Jag Tigers, and
I think we may have a couple of images here. I think this is one.
That's an American captain stood next to a knocked out Panther.
Yeah.
You see the two big holes in the side of it, just below the turret.
Oh, yes. They're very clean looking holes, aren't they?
Probably a tank destroyer or something like that. We have a couple others, don't we?
Yeah, we have a couple of others. Here's a picture of one of the German soldiers.
A very iconic image. This was in all the magazines. You know, when they talk about Battle of the Bulge, just seems to be one picture. It's that famous 1,000-yard stare, they call it.
Yes.
When a soldier has seen too much and there's not much left in the head.
Yeah, and then for the Allies side, perhaps?
The Allies side, well, I'll throw up a couple other images here. We'll talk about the key players in a moment.
Yeah.
But we have some like that. We have a Sherman in the snow driving around.
Did the Battle of the Bulge take place in the winter then, did it?
This was December, January 1944-45.
Okay, so forest, winter, loads of armour, Allies on one side, Allies on the other, Germans up the middle.
Germans pushing through in the middle.
And then you had the 101st trapped in Bastogne.
Yeah, you had, if we go back to our map, well, this is a different map.
Okay.
We have the town of Bastogne down in the south.
Yep.
The Germans encircled that because Bastogne had 7 roads going in and 7 roads, there's 8 roads going in, 8 roads going out.
Yeah.
It was a huge logistical point for everybody.
Yeah.
He who held Bastogne held all the supply routes east and west. So the Americans brought the 101st Airborne in and said, you will hold this at all costs. We can't supply you with anything. We can't give you ammunition. Just hold it.
101st Airborne. That's easy company in those
Band
guys,
of
isn't
Brothers.
it?
Yep. Band of Brothers has an episode on Bastogne as well, showing their fight through the forest and everything. Around there.
Yeah, and then the famous words, the German commander offering the Allied commander a chance to surrender, and the quite simple reply of, nuts.
Nuts.
Okay.
Which was said by this guy, General McAuliffe, who was the Commander-in-Chief 101st Airborne. Our other key players then, in the south, now we should have had a picture of him somewhere, but I can't find him. There he is. In the south we have Patton, and this is Patton actually after the Battle of the Bulge issuing medals to members of the 101st Airborne. And that's
is that an ivory, that's like a Western...
Western pistols,
He was quite the crazy guy. He believed he was a reincarnated soldier from a past life.
He believed he lived many lives.
Do you know what? I believe he probably did,
Probably, So in the north, then we had
General Montgomery.
General then Field Marshal Montgomery.
I see.
In charge of the entire British Expeditionary Force.
Yes.
On the opposite side, on the Germans, we had this guy in his little Kubelwagen. This is Joachim Peiper. He was part of the SS Panzer Corps that led the spearhead of the advance in through the Ardennes.
Yeah.
Bad guy, really bad guy. Was taken up after the war on war crimes.
Right.
Because he executed people like that.
Yes,
right.
So prisoners, I assume.
Yes, there was what was called the Malbany Massacre, where he took all the American prisoners he had and had them all shot.
Very dark stuff.
Very dark stuff, but it's
true part of history.
It's something I don't like to shy away from. To be honest, if it happened, it happened. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
What basically happened here at the start of the advance was elements of the American. I can't remember which division it was. Maybe the 29th or something like that. Were in the Ardennes forest resting.
Yes.
Because it was a quiet sector, too heavily wooded for tanks, so they thought. And then the Germans massed everything in there and pushed through them and basically wiped 2 or 3 divisions off the map and started to push through. So
if you go back to the map, right? Go back to the.
Do you want that map? Or do you want
go to the one with the forest on it, okay?
Okay.
So that line started out, that purple line started out solid.
Yeah.
And that dotted line, is that how far they managed to push through? Or?
The dotted line is the first stage of the advance.
Yeah.
The dashed line, and then the dotted line at the far end is how far they got it. They pushed 80 miles into Allied lines.
Yeah.
So it was becoming very precarious at one point.
Now, surely that's risky, right? Because if you push into Sun Tzu, which I read during the holidays. Okay. Sun Tzu, one of the art of war tactics, is to have a weak middle. Okay, and encourage your enemy to push into the middle, and then you surround him and close it off. What happened here? Did the Allies do that? Did they manage to
on purpose
nip it? Oh, not on purpose.
Not on purpose. They really were in this forest because it was a quiet sector.
Yeah.
And they needed guys. They rotated guys in and out of there who were on combat in the south and in the north.
Yeah.
Just to hold things there.
So this is where you went for your R&R, your downtime.
Yep. And when the Germans pushed through, before the initial assault happened, Patton already had kind of figured out what was going to happen. Obviously, he'd read Sun Tzu and he's read a lot of stuff that Field Marshal Rommel wrote. He read his own book, and they had a briefing which is depicted in the Patton movie in the 60s or whenever it was. And he said, I fully expect the Germans to attack with, let's say, 10 divisions in the Ardennes. And they went, no, they'll never get tanks through that.
Yeah.
And Patton basically said, well, they did in 1940. Why won't they do it again? Because when they attacked Belgium and France in 39-40, that's exactly what they did.
That was Blitzkrieg, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So when the Germans did it again, Patton basically turned around to the high command and said, I told you so.
Yeah.
And they asked, well, what can you do? And Patton said, I'll have 4 divisions there in 24 hours. He said, that's over 100 miles. You can't do that. And he goes, well, they've been on the move for 6.
Yeah.
He preempted what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, why was it called the Battle of the Bulge? Is it because of this bulge?
It is just the shape.
Yeah.
It is just the shape. The Germans called it Operation Watch on the Rhine. Because they wanted the Allies to think, oh, it's clearly a defensive thing they're setting up. Watching the Rhine doesn't sound very attacky.
Yeah.
But it was a carbon copy of, was it Case Blue or Case Yellow, which was the operation name for the initial assault in 1940 through the Ardennes. So yeah, Battle of the Bulge, because it is just the shape that it left the map.
Yeah.
Purely because of that. I think what we're going to expect from Oriskany is a lot of really interesting town skirmishes, and all that, because there's a lot of areas.
Because this is enormous, isn't it?
This is an enormous piece of ground, yeah.
But again, this drags us back to a series we had a while back, the levels of wargaming.
Again, by Oriskany, where he took us through playing at different levels. You've squad level, but right up to that big top-down global command level.
This sort of map view where you can see the overall shape of the operation coming together from all the games you're playing.
Yeah. I wonder, though, I was looking at this and I was thinking, well, we're doing something similar, for Tank Week, okay? But that's at 28 mil, so we're not doing anything similar to that. No. It looks a bit like that shape, but it's nothing like that. Yeah. So then, as you were talking, I started to get this realization of, oh no, that's much bigger. I thought to myself, right, well, maybe after Tank Week, why don't we get together and try and do it in Flames of War? Try and get a feel for it that way. Yeah. But I've realised that's
Flames of War is too big as well.
Flames of War is too big a scale. What kind of a scale, John, would we be like 6 mil? Probably is even too big.
Well, I don't think you would even play that on a tabletop. I think that would be an overall campaign sheet, and then your levels going lower than that is each game you're playing is a different sector of the map, and then you can start to see how it flows and ebbs from that. I don't think you could actually play it on a map that scale.
I think you could. I think Oriskany would be the man to explain to us how to do that. So, Oriskany, if you're watching, hello.
Good job, buddy.
As well as your article series that you're going to do on the Battle of the Bulge, would you mind putting your mega mind to work on that to try and work out what would we have to do to play that out at that very, very high level command level to be able to play out something like that, where you're moving divisions. And we might be able to print something out, and do maybe a print and play type thing for doing something like that. Anyway, John, that is absolutely fascinating. Thank you for that. If that is totally psyched me up, ready for this series that's going to come through. Okay, we got something in the post, didn't we?
We did.
Do you want to show it off? This is what is this? This is the Puma.
This is the Puma.
This is not released yet.
Yeah. So this is brand new, coming out. John, what can you tell me about the Puma?
Well, the Puma is, I would classify it as a heavy armored reconnaissance vehicle.
Yeah.
It's got 8 wheels. They all drive.
Which is it's 8-wheel drive.
It's 8-wheel drive.
Right. Okay.
Powered by one of the few diesel engines the Germans ever used.
So this is faster than a tank.
Yes. This should do about 45 miles an hour on the road.
Yeah.
So they will be quite quick, and they're very good.
So here you have your 9 wheels, because you need a spare wheel.
Yeah.
Here we have some of the little canisters and things like that. They look like radio antenna.
Yep, with that jerry cans.
Up here we have the suspension.
Yep.
That's more suspension pieces there, is it? If I'm correct?
Your wheel swing arms, and through the middle of them is the drive shaft for each wheel.
Yeah. You have the turret.
Turret top. Yeah.
Top. And that's the turret bottom.
Yep.
You have your commander. Okay. I don't know what that is.
The back side of the spare wheel.
That's the back side of the spare wheel. What is this? This is where stowage bin. Okay, on the other sprue,
most of the hull.
We have hull top.
Yep.
Hull sides. Hull bottom.
All these little bits here are, believe it or not, linkages for the steering.
They have the linkages for the steering in this?
They've modelled the linkages for the steering system.
This is a Tallery again, isn't it?
This is another Tallery production for Warlord, and superb.
You love it, yeah?
It's probably better than some of the other plastic kits they've brought out for Warlord.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I mean, they're getting their feet under them now. This is another kit down, so they're only going to refine it and get better.
Yep.
Well, we managed to build one of these bad boys. I say we. That's the royal we. John managed to build one. He handed
me the bag and said, "Build this."
Yeah.
At which point John went,
"This is what it looks like." What a gorgeous
They are
kit.
quite handsome, so they're not too bad.
See, we have these little radio.
Those are, believe it or not, little masts that tell the driver where the corners of the vehicle are. They're visual reference points.
Right.
So the front driver doesn't back into something by accident.
No, you've just said something that Warren hasn't picked up on yet.
Actually, Warren has picked up on this.
Go on.
This is like the Auto Belinda. It goes as fast forwards as it does backwards.
And has 2 drivers.
Oh, I didn't know it had 2 drivers.
It has 2 drivers.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
It's got one facing backward and one facing forward.
Yeah. So the turret, obviously the turret can go all the way around. So that vehicle can go that way, which is kind of cool too, isn't it? Now, let me flip it to the underside, because that's when things start to get really interesting. Would you look at that?
It is quite an intricate build, and because this kit isn't out yet, there was no instruction manual.
Yeah.
So I've had to build this from reference photos, which you see me looking at, going, where the hell does that go? To from memory as well. So I was trying to do a lot of guesswork, I'll have to admit.
I don't know. Now, I think it looks lovely. I want a couple for my own force.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is What quantities did they run around in? Did they run around in their own, John, or would they run around in little squads? Or
they probably acted in units of maybe 4 or 5 to get together.
Were they in support of infantry? Were they an infantry support unit, or
they could be employed as infantry support? Most of the time, they had to use their speed for reconnaissance, so they would shoot off ahead of everything else.
Yeah,
they were usually attached to panzer divisions, like tank divisions and that. So they would be the armored reconnaissance. They'd move off, find something, report back by the radio, and then pull back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I'm thinking of for these, for my games of bolt action, because I could add these to my Watch on the Rhine force. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have 2 of these, either end of the table, bomb them up as fast as I can. If John's got armor on the other side, hide them behind buildings. As soon as he starts to move forward, they're going to roll out and shoot his tanks in the backside.
So you're going to outflank with these?
I'm going to outflank with those because they look like they're going to be really quick. Yes, they're light armored, but if I can get them up, get them hiding, hopefully John will forget about them and be forced forward to come to deal with my armor. Boom, right in the back.
Forget about my hole. you will have infantry with Piat teams all over those things.
Well, that is the Puma.
Puma, and it's
lovely.
A very handsome little
I can't wait to get my hands on one to build.
Awesome. Well, in Warlords, continuous push for ultimate realism in bolt action. When myself and Lloyd really started getting to bolt action, one of the things that we absolutely adored was the incredible attention to detail, the incredible levels of realism. Warlord have just totally topped that for me now.
Yeah.
Okay? With this new set, perfect for us. I think that they made this for Justin. It is, of course, the Flock of Sheep.
What?
Yep. Is this a Welsh regiment?
Hang on. You're handing this to a person who buys miniatures. They're going to read flock of sheep. They're going to imagine it's just sheep's wool done as flock.
No. This
is actual sheep.
This is actual sheep.
Yeah.
You can actually start to populate your board.
These were made for you.
They weren't made for me. Come on.
Can I just ask?
No, they were made for you.
I see what you did there. I'm ignoring what you did there.
Can I just ask, was Mr. Stallard, did one of your sculptors come in hungover one morning and this was his punishment?
Yeah, make some sheep.
I really want to know why. I love it, but why?
Well, we're having a laugh about these, okay? But these are incredibly useful, okay? Like, for example, whenever we started bolt action, the first thing we did was go out and get little cows, okay?
So good point,
so we have little cows, and they'll be lying dead, and we use them for cover and all sorts of stuff, right? These are infinitely more useful than a cow, because if you were playing in a city environment, all you have to do is you tie one to a lamppost, and you have a leisure centre.
If you're fighting in Wales,
it's or Ballymena,
or Bushmills,
or the other thing you can do is if you're struggling with any kind of sleeping issues, you can take them with you and just count them. So it's. I'm
off to a tournament this weekend, honey. Where to put my flock of sheep from Warlord?
The scale is the scale's not bad. I don't have a. Do I have a little guy here? Yeah. So let me just.
Compared to what the Puma is, you would imagine. Okay. Yeah, just about Warren.
So I'm just just showing you the scale. Okay.
Okay.
So scale wise is not bad.
Yeah.
So there we have it. That is the flock of sheep. Painting wise, I honestly think that a product like this we would need really to have Roma.
Are you really going to make Roma?
Can we actually? I would really like that.
Roma, if you're watching this, I apologize. I will try and let you avoid this.
I love it. I've got to say, it's little details like this that this is the reason why I do love bolt action. Because we were having a laugh about this, and bolt action is about that. It's about having a laugh. Yeah. If any committed Beasts of War viewer is a bolt action player, please, I don't often say this, but please go out and buy the sheep. That's product of the year. If we had that, that would have been on the accessories list for the vote.
Right. No, this just makes me think you would have just put, I don't know, done the Deadpool going, okay, 9,991, 9,992.
Do you know what? I can almost imagine someone buying, maybe 15 blisters of these, right? And making a Russian army out of it.
The whole sheep army.
With a commissar at the front holding a flag saying "More lambs for the slaughter."
Well, I'm actually thinking of having them for my Nachtwolfen, but in sheep's clothing.
in sheep's clothing.
Are they
a wolf in sheep's clothing? Oh, God, Josh, you are so slow today.
You have to find out the German word for sheep. Huh?
It probably is sheep.
No, because some German words are just so different. Look at
sheep.
Some German words are so different. Look at ambulance. Krankenwagen.
Krankenwagen.
I like butterfly in German.
And what's that?
Schmetterling.
Schmetterling. Okay.
Or hospital. Krankenhaus.
Yeah.
Krankenhaus. Okay, well, anyway, there is sheep. This is Beasts of War. We get him in to talk about all the historical stuff. I get to talk about the sheep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's kept me happy. I think that's job done for the Weekender this week from my point of view. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back after the break, we're going to be joined by Lloyd. We're going to announce some winners, and then
we're going to let you on.
And then we're going to let you on.
Gaming.
We'll be right back after this. I love my sheep. Okay, guys, so thank you for staying tuned in. Lloyd, what do you think of my sheep?
Where did you get these?
Warlord sheep.
John Stallard has given the green light to making these. Lloyd, where did that go?
Where did what go?
You just stole a sheep.
I think he
didn't steal a sheep.
You're a sheep rustler. We'll have to watch this back because it looks to me like he stole a sheep.
I didn't.
And he's put it behind his back.
If anybody stole a sheep, it was probably Justin, because Justin tells me his Scotland or his family was run out of Scotland years ago
for stealing sheep.
Apparently, this is why my family was kicked out of Scotland on my old man's side.
Right, okay.
I don't know if it's true or not, but that's the family legend.
Well, the family legend. You have a family legend.
Yeah, we even have a family motto and a family tartan from being in Scotland.
Really? So the family motto is what? Don't get caught stealing sheep?
No, the family motto is actually Sweet Danger.
Sweet danger.
Yep.
Stealing sheep. But of course,
it depends what you do with those sheep.
In some kind of rudimentary Latin, of course. Okay, so a couple of quick updates, and then we're going to pick some winners. Next week and the week after, I am probably going to be skipping all or part of the Weekender, but these guys here are going to be taking it on. I have reached that stage in my life where I have nativity plays to go to.
Oh.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I have a little nativity play to go to. I have my little girl's birthday on the same day, and we have a little. She's in a little Christmas parade. So right. I'm going to take this year just to enjoy that because
we won't begrudge you the time off to spend time with your little one. Myself, Lloyd, maybe Sam or John will take up the slack for you. Not a problem.
Awesome. I have a couple of winners to announce. So this week's winner of Flames of War for the win is Sumo Rat.
Yep.
Well done.
What does he get?
He gets an open fire starter set.
Yep.
That's class.
And this week's winner, or last week's winner for the DreadBall Xtreme signed copy, okay, was Fire Blarney. Yeah, Fire Blarney.
Congratulations. More people running around their jammies like,
yeah. I thought I might skip it this week.
No, I'm not going to let you know that one dying.
Jammy dance.
Okay, so this is the point of the show where I say to you, please consider coming across and joining Beasts of War Backstage.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing a recruitment drive for Backstage because we're trying to get Jono to be able to spend more time with us here at Beasts of War because Jono is currently planning some new series for Backstage, which is going to be taking kits, possibly the likes of Warhammer 30k, bolt action kits, from start to finish.
So giving
all
them
the way
the
through.
full treatment. That'll be a cool series.
So if you like what we're doing here at Beasts of War and you fancy supporting us, Backstage is the lifeblood of it all. It's what gives us our independence and stuff like that, as well as keeping everything running. Please consider coming over, take the 7-day trial because it's free.
Does no harm.
And come on over and watch tomorrow's XLBS. That's on Sunday morning over at beastsofwar.com. We're going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Gates of Antares, actually. I believe we have a book somewhere I want to show you. I also have a cool thing that we've received through the post. Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh, please, tell me we actually have it. If you're joking with me right now.
Which one did we get?
We got both.
Both?
So I've got a couple to show. It couldn't have arrived at a better time because I'm planning that for a Christmas night for us to get together one night over Christmas, and we'll all play Shadows of Brimstone.
Happy days.
We're going to be talking about Smog. We're going to be talking about the base size change in Warhammer 40k. We'll be talking a little bit about that, and with some other bits and pieces. So if you fancy getting involved in that, please come on over to beastsofwar.com, try out the free trial of our Backstage, and if you enjoy it, stick around.
And before we go, don't forget that if you come across the Backstage, our friends who made these for us are giving away a little discount code for our Backstagers.
Nice reminder, Justin.
Yep, so if you fancy getting yourself a nice customized dice bag, which anybody that's playing bolt action, you need one of these because you've got to do the whole hand in the bag thing.
Or if you're a role player and you just have those buckets full of poly dice, something cool to carry them in.
Okay, guys, look, thank you so much. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our guests this week. And, of course, a big thank you to both of you guys. All that's left to be said is come over and join us tomorrow morning. And until next week, have a great week of gaming. Good.